Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back. If you're returning, I'm Nikki, and today I have another thrifted DIY for you. This will probably be the end of my Christmas in July series, but I'm starting out using this beautiful cutting board that I got at Goodwill for just $6. I'm going to start off by just wiping it down with a warm soapy cloth. The print on the front isn't raised, so it's going to make it real easy for me to repurpose this. I'm going to use Paint Couture's 2-in-1 Premium primer, and this is just going to set the stage so I can go in with my paint and not worry about it adhering or, bleed through. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. I do use 2 coats. I probably don't need to, but that's just what I did. I'm going to give it 2 full coats of this chalk paint that I get at the Dollar General. And I'm not going to have you bother watching me paint this board. I got these IOD transfers. I've used these on a few other projects. I don't know when this came out. I think it was last Christmas. But anywho, I'm just flipping through so you can see some of the images. And I'm going to choose this lovely, beautiful Christmas tree in the back. Look at this. I'm going to center it on my board and remove the transfer sheet and then begin burnishing it a bit with my hands, and then I'm going to go in using my transfer stick. This has to be one of the easiest transfers I've ever done because it's one sheet. You literally just pull it up and everything it all goes down together. Look at that. Now I'm going to seal in my transfer using Paint Couture's Extreme Guard Satin. I'm just going to put 1 coat on this. That's all you need. And this is going to make it real easy for me to go in using paints and such. So I have several molds here. This one is one of redesign molds. This has got to be one of the most difficult molds I've ever used. So I dust it as usual using my cornstarch, and then I just grab my dad's air dried clay, push it in there, and use my thumbs to get my clay into the mold itself. And then I'm going to flex my mold, flip it over, and roll it back. And I'll use my fingers too to help me release some of those that don't want to come out. And like I said, this is one of the most difficult molds I've used. The detail is very intricate, and so there was a lot of breakage, and I wasn't overly worried about where I was going to put all the breakage, because it's like a puzzle, right? You got to kind of figure out what goes where, and it was just a little bit too much. At least with a puzzle, you have different colors. So I just put them wherever. In the end, I don't think it makes a difference because the end result is absolutely beautiful. So as you can see here, I'm struggling a bit trying to get my Titebond quick and thick under my castings. So you will see me using my spatula to lift my castings, flip it into my hand, and then put my glue on that way. That seemed to have been the easiest, but it took me several times to figure that out. But I end up casting 4 of these large ones, and I didn't realize that, you see there off to the right hand side, there's a small casting. I didn't realize that was in with the design. So when I released my casting from its mold, I thought, oh, that's so pretty. Where am I going to put that? I didn't know that was there. So I'm just working around my board trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to put it. And I end up putting it right here in the middle. My board isn't wet at all, by the way. That is the Extreme Guard Satin that I used. That stuff is amazing. I use it for decoupage, sealing in my transfers, just as almost like a primer. Well, it is a primer, okay, but before I do any work to any surface, I will put that on first. That way, when I go in with my paints and stuff, it gives me the freedom to, make errors and wipe back my mistakes. So real nice product. And I do use a lot of Paint Couture's products. It's all on my own. I'm not promoting anything. I just absolutely love using their products. I'm going pretty fast on a lot of this. This whole project took me about 3.5 hours. I had to cut out a lot, but you can see like the sides here, I'm just piecing in the little um, details that broke off and just trying to find a place to put them. And the fun thing about this mold is, yeah, it's very delicate and ornate, but you're able to make things work if pieces break off. This is the label I'm putting. You can layer your clay all you want. Layers add a lot more depth and definition. I'm adding these beautiful holly berries to the top. Now, this is a fun way to add some definition and elevate your project. Use these simple alphabet stamps that you can get from Amazon or anywhere. I wanted to spell out the word Silent Night. I didn't have enough room, but I went with it. I'm like, whatever. I got silent on there and I like how it looks. I know it's not Silent Night, but it says silent, and that's the first thing when I look at that tree is silence and peace, and I was happy with it in the end. So this part, okay, it would have been all fine and dandy if I was going to go in with lighter colors, but I wanted this to be black. And let me tell you, trying to paint in all these nooks and crannies with black paint over, clay was okay. I lied. I said I spent about 3.5, 4 hours. It was probably more time spending just painting. Okay, so I use black chalk paint, and you can see here I went in with a chippy brush. I used small brushes. I turned my board from one direction to the next, flipping, turning. Yeah, it took me a while, and there were still a lot of spots that I didn't get, but it didn't have to be perfect. It just needed to be close to perfect. So I went with it, and I absolutely love this project. I can't even begin to tell you how satisfied I was at the end result and how beautiful it is. And I may part with it. I don't know. But you can see here, I just keep painting along and then wiping back. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm bringing my Paint Couture's bronze metallic paint to highlight all those beautiful details in the castings. This step really makes everything pop. I always get really excited when I start highlighting. It brings out the textures and gives the piece that rich dimension that I absolutely love. Just wait until you see the shimmer catch the light. It is so awesome. It's just, I'm sorry, I get so giddy over this part. Look at this. I love it. And I leave this part in because for me, it's so satisfying, and I feel like other people feel the same way when they watch tutorials like this. And you can see I have my wet cloth and I just kind of wipe back a little bit as I go. And I go over the board a few different times. I can't remember if it's all on camera, but I mean, it's essentially repetitive, so I don't know why I would leave it all in there. But I will tell you, if you haven't worked with clay, if you're afraid to, just give it a try. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. I would recommend maybe trying Dazzler dry clay opposed to like Crayola. I Crayola and I aren't friends, so I'm not going to recommend using that. But maybe invest in just that in a mold and see how you like it. I guarantee you would love it. I mean, I shouldn't say guarantee, but I really think you would if you just give it a try. Just try it. As you can see, I'm going around the sides, elevating those, and this part, oh my goodness. I go over the leaves with the gold, and then I'm going to use some chalk paint in the color Crimson by Waverly over the berries. And you're going to see me just going back and forth. I do a couple coats of the Crimson on the berries, and I didn't realize till just now the green that I use on the stems of the leaves is a stencil paste. I thought it was one of Paint Couture's metallic paints. And although it does have like a metallic hue to it, it's a stencil paste. So I'm going to have to try that on another project. I'm going to let everything dry and I'm going to go over my berries using Luxe Metallic Paint in the color Oyster Pearl. And this gives them a nice frosted berry look. I must have deleted the footage, or I don't know. I messed up somehow, guys. I'm sorry. I used Paint Couture's Crackle Step 1 and 2 on different areas of my board. You can see there on the handle where it looks wet. Those are the places that I put it. So you're going to see me go in with more of the gold metallic paint, and I'm just going to go over those areas, rubbing on the metallic paint and then wiping it back. And there are a few spots over my image that I did that to as well. Don't those berries look so pretty? I think adding the oyster pearl over the top of them was the perfect touch. Off camera, I did seal everything in once I was finished with this using Paint Couture's Extreme Guard Satin. Now I'm going to go over my image with the same metallic paint, and I'm going to wipe it back using my damp rag. And that completes this project. Here it is in the afternoon sun. And I really feel like I did this piece justice by giving it new life. The light just dances across the surface, catching all that beautiful crackle and texture. Every layer tells a little story, and seeing it glow like this makes all the time and effort feel so worth it. I truly hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. If you did, I'd be so thankful if you gave it a like and left a comment down below. Your words always mean so much to me. I read every one. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe and join our little creative corner. I want the space to feel like a happy place where everyone feels welcome and inspired. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. Until the next one, guys. Bye.